Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyapadyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Badram Karne Vishrunayama Deva Badram Pakshe Makshbharjajatra Sthireranirehi Sastanubihi Vishem Hitam Yadayuhu. Yeah. Swastirana Pusha Vishwaveda Swastirasaksho Arishtavemihi Swastino Brihaspatirdadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So last time we saw the 7th verse, right, of the Upanishad. Nanta prajnam na bahi prashnam no bhayata prajnam na prajnana ghanam na prajnam na prajnam. So if you look at it, all the qualities, waking, dreamer, deep sleeper, everything negated. Okay? And any other state in between also that you may have. Like you're dreaming but you can't stop it. You're aware it's a dream but still it's going on. Or you're in an unconscious state. All that. Okay. All that negated in that first line. Then adrushtam. That which cannot be seen. Avyavaharyam. That which is not available for any transaction. Very important. It doesn't come under any transaction and or any karma. Okay? It is a basis for everything, but itself is not available for any karma. Avyavaharyam. Agrahyam alakshanam. It really speaking cannot be defined as well. Alakshanam. Why to define it is to, what is the definition? In Sanskrit you have definitions for definitions also. Anyone remembers the definition of a definition? Vitriyebhya sarvebhya vyavartakam lakshanam. Lakshanam is that which will help you differentiate something from everything else. So is really the Atma different from everything else? As Satyam Jnanam Anantam, it is the basis for everything. So how can you differentiate it from everything? Therefore, really speaking, it is not a Lakshanam also. Okay. That's why we have to use, instead of a definition, we have to do the Lakshana Vakya for the definition itself. An implied meaning for the definition to work. Okay. All that we have seen in Taittiriya. Achintyam cannot be thought of. Avyapadesham. Okay. Avyapadesham. You can't describe it. Avyapadesham. If that reality is something like this, how will I ever know it? If you are saying this is it, this is it, this is it, then you will never know it. But you can, because ekatma pratyasaram. That is what makes the whole difference. That one I that you take in every experience, that I that is there, it is the essence of that I. It is the content of that I. Ekatma pratyasaram. Aham pratyasaram. You have the sense of I thought. Whether you are waker, dreamer or deep sleeper, that is there. What is the content of that I thought? You, the consciousness. Now when you are applying all these words to I, the consciousness, it is more of negating everything I am not. Nanta prajnana, bahish prajnam, all that if you see, it's more of negation. Okay? The first word that is positively placed here is ekatma pratyasaram. Then prapancho upashama. The resolving point of the whole cosmos. Shantam. That which can never be disturbed. To disturb me, there should be something other than me. There is nothing other than I, the consciousness. Okay? Shivam moksha surupaha. Advaitam. non-dual. But Chaturtham Manyante, with respect to the other three, it is pointed out as the fourth. Sa Atma Savijñeya. This is the Atma, this is to be known. If you know that, nothing else is necessary. Okay. So, any questions, clarification? This we saw last time, I was just summing it up. Any questions, clarifications on this?
Swamiji,
Yeah.
in the first sentence when na prajnam and na aprajnam, what does that actually mean?
Na aprajnam, not unconsciousness, nor consciousness of something or the other.
Okay.
Repetition for emphasis. Because he said nanta prajnam, na bahish prajnam. So prajnam is covered there. But for emphasis. A general awareness. No, it is not that. You know, the diffused awareness that you have, not detailed, even that. Na prajna.
I see. Thank you.
So, any other questions, clarifications? Think about it. This is one of the most profound words that you'll ever find in any Upanishad.
So Swamiji, the first sentence that deals with the individual, the Vyashti.
It doesn't matter. It can be applied for both Vyashti and Samashti equally. Equally it can be applied. Now, another thing must be clear here is, without using the word mithya, mithyatvam has come in. The Upanishad has not used the word mithya. But by negating everything and saying Atma is prapancha upashama, the resolving point, naturally Satya Mithya is coming. So, in many of the Upanishadic verses, mithya is already implied. The word may not have been explicitly used. Some places it is used also, very rarely, very infrequently, but it is always implied. Because you may face an argument that the word mithya has not been used in the Upanishads. Maya has been used. Okay. Maya, Bihi, Purva, Rupameti, etc. All that has been used. The word mithya has been never. But Maya Karyam is mithya. The effect of Maya is mithya. And that mithyatvam is implied in every verse because here it is. One, it is negatable, second is the resolving point. Then that resolving point is Satyam, other things are all mithya. Is understood there. Okay. Without having to use those words. Clear about all this? Okay. Right. Chaturtham manyante savijñeya sa. Okay. Then back to Gaudapada's Karika, because profound verse. Now he has to explain it. So the Karika comes into the picture. So the next verse is the Karika. Nivartate sarva dukkhanam ईशानः प्रभुरव्ययः अद्वैतः सर्वभावानां देवस्तुर्यो विभुः स्मृतः. Nivrte sarva dukkhanam, where all dukkhas, meaning all sense of limitation. Dukkha cannot exist without a sense of limitation. Therefore, sarva dukkhanam nivartate, all negated. Every dukkha is negated. Ishanaha prabhuravyayah. Ishanaha, the one who is taken as Ishvara himself, Ishanaha. Prabhu, okay, Prabhu, the Lord. Avyayaha, that is not conditioned by time, for emphasis on that. Advaita sarva bhavanam. Sarva bhavanam Advaita. Real is the non-dual reality behind all forms. Deva, Turya, Vibhuhu, Smritaha. This Devaha, the effulgent one, the consciousness. Turiyaha iti Smritaha. Called as, remembered as Turiya. Why is he called as a Turiya? Because of your identification with the three. Waking, dream and deep sleep is what you identify with. All your experiences come under this. Waking, dream and deep sleep. So all your identities are because of waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. Waker, dreamer, deep sleeper is a catch-all identity. Within that you may have further identities. Where waker, you have your own identities in the waker. Identities means what? Self-judgment. You are judging yourself. I am like this only. Look at it. We are not happy when somebody else judges us. But we are judging ourselves all the time. And we are not really happy with it. That's why if someone tries to slot you, you will say, no, I am not like that. Nobody likes to be slotted, isn't it? You say, no, I am not like that. An angry person will deny his anger. I am not angry, of course not. I mean, only when it is necessary, I get angry. And when is it necessary? 5 times a day. Okay. Nobody likes slotting, no. But the self-judgment is always there. Identities are always there. So, because, and that all that is clubbed together as 3. It's clubbing. Waking. Same way you have in dreamer. Deep sleeper, only 1. When you are identifying with ignorance. So, I don't know. Is in a way can be included into deep sleeper. I don't know, nothing. So, clubbing together, therefore 3 states. With respect to them, Turiya. Say Ekaha, but presented as the Turiya. So always keep this in mind. Turiya is not a state of experience. It is not a state at all. Because look at it. Yeah, before I go into this. Mangala, you have a question? Mangala or Punjabi question? You raised your hand.
I was muted. See, the Upanishad uses the word Chaturtham. Suddenly, Gaudapadacharya is using the word Turiya.
Yeah.
Now, has it been used in any other Upanishad, this word, or it is?
No. It has been used more in Yoga Shastra.
Okay.
Yeah. And remember, Yoga and Vedanta always went together.
Yeah.
Yoga was a practice to prepare the mind for yoga, Vedanta. So very often yoga was presented or adopted as a practice to prepare your mind. So the word has been used there. There it is used by all the yoga teachers as an experience, etc. Look at it. When waking is there, Turiya is there or not? Consciousness is there. It's consciousness that is presented as the 4th, remember?
Yes.
So waking is there, the consciousness is there. Dreamer is there, consciousness is there. Deep sleeper is there, consciousness is there.
It is immanent in all the 3.
Exactly, in and through everything. So it's not really the 4th. It is called as the 4th. That's
It
all.
is called.
Yeah.
It is the Manyante.
Yeah, exactly. Chaturtham manyante. It is held, called, presented as the fourth. Not really the fourth, say ekaha sa vijnaya, etc. But our attention, whenever we are waking, dreaming, deep sleep, is not on consciousness. But look at it. Right now we are all conscious being, talking, walking, this thing. But is our attention on consciousness? Never. Except maybe in a Vedanta class when you said, oh, you're conscious. Other than that, where is your attention on consciousness? The consciousness is present in every thought. Remember we saw in Kena Upanishad? Bodham pratibodhitam manaha. Every thought it is present. And we are busy removing the thought to look at consciousness. Why was a moron standing on the beach waiting for all the waves to die down so that he can have samudra darshan? Now the question can come up. Can you have Turiya as a state? What they call Turiya as a state is simple Samadhi. Okay. Now there are varieties of Samadhi also. It can be classified as the way you approach it, like you see it in Drisya Viveka, or in terms of what happens in it. Like Dharma Mega Samadhi, etc., is not really that no thought state, it is connecting up with the cosmic mind. Or complete cessation of thought, what we generally thought about as Nirvikalpa Samadhi. All right, thoughtless state, possible, why not? So if you don't know the truth and you're going to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, what is the difference between that and deep sleep? You don't come out saying, I know the truth. You come out with an experience which you can't fully identify with, which you can't fully explain, number one. Number two, as if you have been doing some practices and they have presented this as the ultimate, you think you have got the ultimate. I have seen people after that, great masters, okay, saying after that when I came home I couldn't look my mother in the face. Why not? Why can't you look at him? Somehow something was not comfortable for you. No? So the world became an uncomfortable place after going into Samadhi. Samadhi should give you freedom. You be comfortable with anything. Now I lost my mother that day. The guy says that. Yeah, because you went to Samadhi, you lost your mom. Oh, nonsense is this. Because you know the truth, your mom stopped becoming your mom. It's a relationship at the level of body and mind. Guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Guna guneshu vartante. Body and mind is functioning in the respective field of activities. I am that consciousness in and through everything. That is knowledge. That doesn't come as a result of an experience. If you don't know and you go into Samadhi, it is aprajnam, prajnana ghanam, not very different from deep sleep. No, Swamiji, I was not asleep. Then what were you? I have seen people saying this also. You know, in sleep your face is dull, etc. When you are sitting in Samadhi, it's all bright and this thing. Somewhere you want to make a difference between Samadhi and sleep, and that difference can be made only if it is Jnana Lakshana Samadhi. You already have the knowledge and you are absorbed in yourself. Only then you can make a difference. In fact, Samadhi is a name given to the Atma, really speaking. Samadhiyate yasmin manaha, where the mind is resolved. So either the mind can be resolved in ignorance if you don't know the truth, or the mind is resolved to yourself if you know the truth. That's where the whole thing is. Therefore, Turiya is as a state, Yoga Shastra, etc. talks about it. Sankhya talks about it. Many spiritual practices talk about it. It's a good practice. As a practice, if you want to get into it, you can. It will give you certain mastery over your mind. Why? You can stop your thinking. We overthink things. No? See your mind. What is the advantage of this samadhi practice? Okay. Our mind is an instrument, is a tool. Okay. So whenever you have to use it, you use it. It's like a samurai sword. Does the warrior always carry the sword in his hand? Eating, drinking, walking? No. Sword is sheath. Why? When necessary, it will come out in a flash. In a millisecond, it will come out. So mind is also like that. So, when you have to think, think. When you don't have to think, just the register. That's it. Don't think. But do we remain like that? Then we are very quiet and peaceful. There is no stress in your life. But we will keep ruminating over things. You don't have anything to think around. ठीक है, मस्तराम बाबा होके बैठ जाओ. What are you doing? Nothing. Nothing. But we are not comfortable with that. So what do we do? What is there on TV? What is there on your phone? Why? The samadhi practice will help you to be that. If you don't have to think, you don't think. When you have to think, you think. Very good for your mental health, emotional health. But more than that, no. It's knowledge that we're going for. Recognition of the self is what is important. It's a cognitive function. It has to be taken like that. Okay. Alright. Now, he is using the word Turiya as equivalent to consciousness right through. Okay? Because Chaturtham Manyanti. So he is holding on to that word, Chaturtham, Turiya, and explaining that consciousness with respect to waking dream and deep sleep. Pointing out similarity, difference, everything, he does that. Okay? In the next few verses. कार्य कारण बद्धौ तौ विश्यते विश्व तेजसौ प्राज्ञः कारणबद्धासु दौ तौ तुर्येण सिद्ध्यतः. कार्य कारणबद्धौ तु इष्यते विश्व तेजसौ. The Vishwa and the Tejasa. Vishwa is what? Waker. Tejasa, dreamer. He is bound by cause and effect, he says. What do you mean bound by cause and effect? Ajnanam and Adhyasa. Okay? Ajnanam and Adhyasa. This ignorance of what I am and misunderstanding of what I am not. What I am not is taken as me. Some books will also call it Vikshepa. Vikshepa is not agitation. Okay? Vikshepa is erroneous conclusion. And not knowing yourself will be called as Avarna. So Avarna and Vikshepa. Or ignorance and Avidya and Adhyasa. Whereas Avidya is the Karanam, Adhyasa is the effect. So the Vishwa and Tejasa is bound by both Karya and Karana. Because there is Avidya and erroneous conclusions also about who I am, what I am. Whereas the Prajnaha Karna Baddhaha too. What about the Prajnaha, the deep sleeper? Only Karna Baddhaha. There is no erroneous conclusion. There is only ignorance. The conclusion I was sleeping, etc., is verbalized only on waking. In deep sleep, what is there? Only ignorance is there. Only karanam. Avidya is there. Moola avidya is there. That's it. There is no other thing. Karya is not there. So, waking and deep sleeper bound by karya karana. Deep sleeper, prajna, conditioned only by karanam. Dvau tau turiyena siddhyataha. In the consciousness, both is not there, he says. Consciousness is not conditioned by karya karana together or individually only karana. Waking dreamer and deep sleeper is conditioned by all this. Cause-effect relationship. I, the consciousness, turiyam, not conditioned by any of this. That's pretty clear, right? Because neither is there ignorance in the consciousness, nor is there any wrong conclusion in it. So, I am not conditioned by either of them. Okay.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
for Taijasa, how do we say there is adhyasa in the dream? Do I have adhyasa in dream?
Yeah, because the dream conclusions are there. In the dream also, I take myself to be something, something, something.
Yes.
So that type of adhyasa is purely pratibhasikam. But it's adhyasa. Samsara swapna tulyo hi ragadvesha adisankulaha. The dream state, waking state are similar. Ragadvesha, etc. is there. I am a finite being. I don't have that. I want that. I hate this, all that. All that is adhyasa. Vyavahara is there based on adhyasa only. Dream vyavahara, but still vyavahara is there. I can live a whole lifetime in a dream. In whatever little time the dream is, a whole lifetime can be lived there. That's all adhyasa only. And if
So
you look
for
at, yeah,
Sorry, for a wise person, then would the dream actually be different, Swamiji?
no, because the dreams are based on waking samskaras. They are purely mithya. So the wise person also will have dreams. Yeah. That's one thing. Let me clarify that. A wise person also will have dream. A wise person also will have sleep. That sleep as upadi will be there. Avidya upadi. Not avidya as leading to self-ignorance or self-judgment. But as an upadi, the avidya will be there. Number one. Dream is based on samskaras, and a wise person, before he gained the wisdom, has gained lot of samskaras. So those type of dreams can be there. Yeah. Like very often I dream that with Swamiji I am going and having a discussion somewhere, this, that, etc. So I have other types of dreams also, which I don't spend time analyzing any of them. Right? Revade, it's all samskaras coming up. So samskaras in the mind, what is the issue? When mind itself is not an issue, what about the problem of samskara? Any mind will have some samskaras. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. That will be depend upon the experiences that you have gone through. If you have had varied experiences, you will have varied samskaras. The problem of the samskaras is if they have left such an impression on you that it leads to self-judgment, it colors your personality. Coloring also is okay, but leading to self-judgment which are problematic, traumatic. Yeah. Those type of samskaras are a problem. It has left such a deep impression on you that it is hampering you. Gita talks about it. Ajnanena avrutam jnanam. Your jnanam, your mind, is covered by ajnanam. How? Like the fire that's enveloped by smoke. The passing breeze of the Shastra is enough. So this can be applied to samskaras also. There are samskaras, but no big deal. Or some samskaras are a little bit more, like dust on a mirror. So some dusting, some polishing is necessary. Or like a fetus in the womb, dusting, polishing, etc. will not help. You have to wait 9 months. Wait. 9 English months or 10 lunar months. Is a 10 month because lunar calculation. Okay. So similarly, there are other examples also for samskaras, like a line drawn in water. Where is the samskara? Is there gone? Like a line drawn in sand, or it's like a line drawn in rock. It has to be worn out, or chipped away. So taken. So samskaras give a color to your personality. That's why every wise person is different. Thank God for that. If all of us are going to be carbon copies, it will be a very boring world. Yeah. Really, imagine gain wisdom and you became carbon copy of your teacher. One of me is bad enough, yaar. Abhi dur रहेगा. It's a problem. Anu, you have a question. Shoot.
Namaste, Swamiji. Just a follow up on the dream question.
Yeah.
In a dream, like in the waking world, the wise person knows that they are Atma no matter what. But in the dream, do they dream from the perspective of knowing they are Atma, or can these samskaras be resolved, and that it's not necessary that they know they are Atma in the dream, and they could just be resolving samskaras as a regular person?
Good question. If the knowledge is well entrenched, somewhere at the back of the dreamer there is the knowledge that I am the consciousness, like how it is in waking. But if the dream is based on samskaras which was there before you gain knowledge, then the knowledge will not be there in dream, because it is a mental vomiting. It is based on the samskara. So some samskaras as before you gain knowledge and they are creating a dream for you. So before you gain knowledge, when those samskaras were there, you didn't have knowledge. So you're playing the dreamer's role without the knowledge. Not a problem. Like because of Operation Sindoor, etc., I dreamt of 71. Naturally, the samskaras are there. So in 71, I didn't have Atma Jnana. Maximum I had was some Ishvara Jnana. Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. That's all I knew. Nothing else I knew. But it was enough to go through that without any issues. So naturally you'll dream of it. की फर्क पैंदा yeah, because it doesn't matter. And in deep sleep, the wise person's sleep is as ignorant as anybody else's sleep. Okay? हाँ, लैंग्वेज में चेंज. महाराज जी कहाँ है? महाराज जी को दर्शन करना है. कहाँ है महाराज? अरे वो तो समाधिस्थ है. 3 बजे जब चाय लेके जाएंगे तभी आप मिल लेना उनको. What is समाधिस्थ? He is having a nice afternoon snooze after his lunch. भंडारा खा के आया है, क्या करेगा? So that is just language. समाधिस्थ है महाराज. That doesn't mean anything, Yeah. So sleep, ignorance and upadhi is there. But in sleep, what happens is, whether you are wise or ignorant, you don't make a self-judgment. The ignorant doesn't make a self-judgment in deep sleep. That's why it's called deep sleep. So the wise person also doesn't. Only upadhi is there. Yeah. So the wise person also may have good sleep, may not have good sleep. That also is possible. Why? A wise person went for a Bhiksha, dinner Bhiksha. And there the host said, Swamiji, I have nice Arabian coffee. Oh no, it's late now, Baba, no coffee. Swamiji, please try this, very good, I got it, friend. We have brewed it just for you. Acha, theek hai. Coffee pee liya. At 10 o'clock in the night, you had coffee. Nice, strong Arabian coffee. You're bound to have disturbed sleep that night. Why? It is purely physiological. The caffeine is keeping your brain active. It has got nothing to do with anything else. So the wise person will have to make an effort to go into sleep. Thoda samadhi kar lo. Quieten your mind, etc. Drink plenty of water, flush it out of your system, and then do some this thing, and then go to sleep. Or if he doesn't bother about it, theek hai, disturb sleep ho gaya, disturb sleep ho gaya. Tomorrow afternoon I have some free time, catch a nap. What's the big issue? So one night you had a disturbed sleep. What's the big issue about it? Oh, my app is showing, oh, sleep quality is poor tonight. God, hey, be careful if all of you guys are using these apps and okay, don't let that rule your life, okay? It's all right once in a way if you have a disturbed sleep. It's only when it's consistently disturbed you have a problem. All these latest health apps, no? It makes you paranoid about your health. Oh, I got only 6,000 steps today. Okay, I asked Khali 6,000. Okay, doesn't matter. Make it up tomorrow. But some of you are very regular. I'm regular, okay. But there are days when I don't get it also. So, big deal. Don't get governed by that because you have that app. Why is my heart rate going so fast? Body, yeah, sometimes it will go fast, sometimes it will not go fast. Yeah. Some days you will get good sleep, some days you will not. If consistently your sleep is disturbed, then there is something to be looked into. That consistent is the issue. Once in a way is fine. That is in terms of deep sleep. So the wise person and the ignorant, as far as sleep is concerned, is the same. But Turiya, I, the consciousness, not bound by Karanam or Karyam, or both. Completely free from the whole thing. Yeah. And this is available in your experience. Yeah, Ananta, you have a question.
Just wanted to understand clearly when you said in the wise person, avidya will be there as upadhi.
Yeah.
Can you help me understand the correct meaning of
now,
upadhi here?
Upadhi is that which brings about an apparent change. Okay. Like when a wise person is given a name, it is called upadhi. A position is an upadhi. Let us say you got a promotion in your job. So now you have a new title. You have a new function. Upadhi, you are still the same person. No? You are still the same person. You are doing a different function, therefore you got a different title. So these type of things are called upadhis, which brings about an apparent change. Or something through which you function. Your body is an upadhi. Why? You function through the body in the physical world. Your mind is an upadhi because through the mind it functions. Similarly, ajnanam is an upadhi. You function through ajnanam in deep sleep. Now, what happens when I am ignorant about the truth? It becomes more than, it looks more than an upadhi because of that self-ignorance, I make self-judgments. Adhyasa comes into the picture. So, in deep sleep, there is no problem. It's upadhi for both. But in the waking, it creates issue for the ignorant. So, that's why you say wise person has ignorance, yeah, as an upadhi only, in deep sleep. It doesn't create an issue in the functioning world or in the waking world. There is no self-judgment based on that.
So an upadhi need not be an imposition or limiting condition always.
It's an apparently limiting condition, put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. That which brings about an apparent change is called an upadhi. So the all-pervading consciousness, or I, upadhi, deep sleep. I am nothing but consciousness, but now what am I doing? Sleeper. Actually, what is sleeping? Mind and body is sleeping. The consciousness is not sleeping. But I'll get up and say I slept well. The wise person doesn't change. He doesn't say, this mind slept well. Swamiji, you didn't sleep. I was awake. Consciousness, always awake. If consciousness is always awake, can you call it awake? You can call awake only if you want to sleep. So to indicate that in some cultures, especially American Indian cultures, American Indian means the original natives, their symbol for a wise person was an owl. Were always awake, witnessing. The consciousness, it is symbolic of the consciousness actually. The owl. Ya nisha sarva bhuteshu tasya jagrati samyami. Remember? याद है ना ये सब गीता से? क्या भूल गया? गीता में था, बहुत साल पहला हो गया था. So that is the thing, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. So as an upadhi, the consciousness is always there, not conditioned by any of these things. Okay. Turyena siddhyatah. न आत्मानं न परांश्चैव न सत्यं नापि चानृतं प्राज्ञः किंचन संवेति तुर्यः ततः सर्वदृक् सदा. The prajna na atmanam samveti. Does he know the self? Deep sleeper doesn't know the self. Na paransheva. The waker knows the outside world. Okay, but the deep sleeper does not. Na satyam, he does not know what is truth. Na pichan ritam, not what is mithya. Okay. Prajna kinchit na samveti. Prajna does not know anything. And what does the Turiya do? Tat sarvadrik sada. It's always the witness. Mind knows satyam, you witness it. Mind knows mithya, you witness it. Mind is ignorant of something, you witness it. Prajna is ignorant of everything, you witness the prajna. Otherwise, how can you say you slept well? Therefore, now Atma gets a positional name, Avastatraya Sakshi. Always a witness. Yeah, shall be.
Swamiji, so when you're saying witnessing, you're not actually meaning experiencing anything, right?
No, it's not experience, just witnessing.
Doesn't actually mean seeing or noticing or nothing like that. It just means that it is there, through, in and through, right?
The example given, there's a book called Panchadashi. It gives a very beautiful example. It's called Nataka Deepa. Okay? The theatre lamp. So in this theatre, there's this huge light. Okay? It illumines everything. There's a dancer who's dancing. Nartaki. Dancer is your mind. Okay? When it dances, it illumines. Then the dancer quits the stage. There's a big applause from the audience. The light illumines the audience as well. Dancer quits. Audience quits. It illumines the absence of everything. Deep sleep. The light always illumines. One example given. So similarly, the consciousness, either you can say witnessing or you can say illumining. All that indicates what? It lights up something without getting involved in it. The lamp illumined a murder. Is it responsible for the murder? Because the light was there, murder was possible. Can you see the light? If the light was not there, you wouldn't have seen. You can't hold light responsible for it. Things happen in the light. So in the light of consciousness, things happen. In your mind and body, things will happen. In the world outside, things will happen. For the consciousness, there is no inside outside. It's all witnessing. Now sometimes it's presented as inside. Pratyak. Why? Upalabdhi sthanam. There is consciousness right here. Okay? Where my finger is subscribing, the circle, right here. But you can say, how will I know the consciousness here? You can't know the consciousness here. You have to know the consciousness as I. After that, you can understand that everything is consciousness. But the first step, it has to be understood as I. Therefore, presented as Pratyegatma also. Inside, Pratyak. As opposed to Parak. On the other side of the eyes. Pratyaksham, Aksham, Prativartate. That which is in front of the eyes. No, this is Pratyak. The one behind the eyes, who is using the eyes. So, this is for only making those Upalabdhi sthanam. Where are you going to recognize? To indicate that these type of words are used. Okay? Because you can't recognize the. It's like I always say this now. 6 inches over my head. Watch carefully. 6 inches over my head, there is light. Yes, Swamiji. Buddhism talks about it. That's your higher self. I'm really talking about light as per se. But you don't see it, you don't notice it. If I put my hand there, do you see my hand? Yeah, everyone sees my hand. Can you see my hand unless light is reflected from my hand to your eyes? That means what? The light is there, no? But you are not noticing it. So similarly, where will you see the Atma? Where will you recognize, know the Atma? I, Pratya. Then you can recognize the Atma is everywhere. That's a different thing. But first here. So for that, because of Upalabdhi is there, you will use a word like Pratyak, etc. Pratyagatma, Pratyak. Because as you see, Atma is neither Pratyak nor Parag. Yeah, it is consciousness everywhere. Yeah. Okay. Therefore, Turiyaha tat sarvadrit sada. Remember, whenever he is using the word Turiya, is referring to the Atma. Okay. Always you will think Turiya state is like that, everything. Because Atma is presented as Chaturtham, he is talking about it like that. Dvaitasya agrahanam tulyam upayoho prajnaturyoho bija nidra yuta prajna sachaturyena vidyate. Dvaitasya agrahanam. Not taking the reality of Dvaita, duality. Tulyaha upayo prajnaturyoho. In the Turiya, in the consciousness, and in the deep sleep state, Dvaitasya agraham. You don't recognize Dvaita. In the consciousness, there is no Dvaita anyway. And in Prajna, there is no experience of Dvaita. There is a difference here. In the Prajna, there is no experience of Dvaita. In the consciousness, there is no Dvaita. But Bija Nidra Yuta Prajna. In the Prajna, the Bijam of Nidra, that is Avidya, is there. Therefore, when you make up, all the duality will be there. Whereas here what? Sacha Turyena Vidyate. There is no ignorance in Turyam. In the consciousness there is no ignorance. But in deep sleep it is there. Now, because of these comparisons, don't mistake it as a state. Okay? Don't mistake it as a state. It was presented as the fourth. Therefore, he is continuing that word fourth. So, you can say, if at all it is Jnana Samadhi, let us say Turiya is Jnana Samadhi, Jnana Lakshana Samadhi. Because you can go into Samadhi with knowledge or without knowledge. With knowledge, if you are going, then Dvaitasya Agrahanam in both. But in Nidra, what happens? Avidya is there. Here, avidya is not there. It's consciousness. So where is avidya? No avidya. Therefore, in the consciousness there is no avidya at any time, irrespective of what state it is going through. Waking, dream, deep sleep, or some samadhi type experience. Whatever is going through, in the consciousness there is no avidya. And that is the same whether you know the truth or you don't know the truth. Let's say here is an ignorant person, totally ignorant, pamara, semi-literate, anguta chap as you will say in Hindi. In the consciousness, is there ignorance? Mind is all ignorant. Lot of things he doesn't know. But the consciousness that is manifest in that mind, is that consciousness that is behind that mind ignorant? Never. The consciousness that is manifest in an animal upadhi, does it have animal samskaras? The jiva, the mind has, not the consciousness. The jiva has, that's why it has the karma of being born as an animal. But not the consciousness. This verse is said nicely in Manisha Panchakam. Whether the sunlight is falling on the Ganga or in a dirty sewage canal, is the sunlight affected by it? Is the sun affected by it? Where the sunlight is illumining. Sunlight is illumining the Ganga. Oh, Pavitra hai. Sunlight is illumining the sewage. The sunlight is only illumining. It is not touched by either of them. So that is also. The consciousness remain untouched. Agrahanam Dvaita is common. But the bija, avidya, for duality is there in deep sleep, in the consciousness, it's completely absent. Okay. Clear up to now? Okay, we have done 4 verses today, but each verse is a profound verse, requires some thinking. Okay? This is like sometimes Taranandagiri used to say, whenever you use a different idea, a difficult idea or a profound idea, whether it came up in a grammar book or whether it came up in a Vedanta text, you would say, ये तो लोहे का चना है, थोड़ा चबाना ही पड़ेगा. Like eating chana, peanuts, but made of iron, थोड़ा चबाना पड़ेगा. You have to chew it a bit. Chewing means थोड़ा मनन करना पड़ेगा. So think about it, look into it. Then we will see more in the next class. Okay, good place to stop. There is more about the Turiya and goes on for another half a dozen verses. It's a good point to say. थोड़ा विचार कर लो, फिर देखा जाएगा क्या. ओम तत्सत.